Okay, it is time now for our In the Arena segment of Total Maine. We've got two of our three experts here. So great to see the two of you. Pat's taking a little break as the podcast is on just a short hiatus. Of course, it is summertime. That means that the legislature has adjourned. They had a lot of work to do, 400 plus bills passed, 100 in recent days. Let's talk big, broad strokes here. What are the major stories from what the state legislature tackled?
Well, you know, it's interesting to me. I think the biggest story in terms of the entire legislature, it's that they didn't really do anything big and bold. You know, I think in past legislatures, there's been something like free community college, or back in Angus King Day with laptops, or, you know, actually with Baldacci around creating Dirigo Health. There was nothing really big this session, I felt like, that they advanced. In the last couple of weeks, they moved off the appropriations table a couple of bills that are actually pretty substantial. Additional funding for Planned Parenthood and also banning ghost guns. I think this is a good step forward for the state of Maine as gun violence is on the rise.
Phil, anything big and bold that you liked?
Actually not. They increased state spending by another $360 million. Taxes went up and all these sneaky little ways that people will begin to feel after the legislature adjourns. Your utility expenses are going to go up to support the green energy initiative. And as you mentioned, Terry, there was like 100 bills that the legislature put on the governor's desk and then they left town. It's going to be interesting to see which ones she signs, which ones she vetoes, and which ones she lets become law without her signature. I think that's the rest of the story.
Well, and she can't let them become law without signature now because they've left. So she's got to, if she doesn't sign them, they get vetoed at this point. So there are these 100 bills. I will agree with Phil on one piece, which is around the taxation, right? The legislature, what they did was they added onto the sales cigarette tax streaming services, and that is kind of putting the burden on working class folks. What they should have done is put it on wealthier folks in the state of Maine. They had a few different bills that could have changed the income tax brackets, put more of that, put a little bit, make them pay their fair share of the wealthiest millionaires in the state of Maine. They should have had them do the tax, and they didn't.
Either of you reevaluating whether you really need Netflix or Hulu?
Well, when you add your Netflix, your Apple Plus, your YouTube, they're all going to have sneaky little increases in fees.
Yeah, you're going to want to
those companies put those sneaky increases on you anyway, buddy. So,
State Representative Laura Libby, this is a pretty significant development during the middle of the week. She now has her ability to speak from the House floor restored. She was able to she had her votes read into the record. Were you surprised this happened? It even sounded like Representative Libby was surprised that this happened right
now. Yeah, what's interesting is twofold. One, it appears as though the Democrat leadership in the legislature recognize that they may not be successful in court, so better to make it a moot point and not have a final determination by the court system. And two, they did it when the legislature was 1 foot out the door, so she can now speak, but there's no one there to listen to her.
Well, and she's saying the Democrats caved.
Yeah, it's silly. I mean, and Phil.
You don't think that's the right characterization?
No, of course not. It's exactly what Phil just said. They did it as they were done. The session was over. She had to, serve her time. She served her time, and then they ended it. That's all that happened. So, and then she took the moment, and she clearly knew this was probably going to happen because that's how these things usually work. She had a 25-minute speech prepared for the moment that they took that away, in which a lot of people just walked out. So Democrats did the right thing. So she wants to spend it however she can.
Let's talk about the big, beautiful bill. There is a new research survey coming out from the University of New Hampshire showing Mainers disapprove of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and also increasingly disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. And according to that survey, 58% of respondents in Maine say they definitely or probably want Congress to block it. Phil, let's start with you. What do you think is behind the perception of Mainers?
Yeah, well, it would be interesting to see if this was the mood of the people when the next congressional election comes along, because that's really going to be the determining factor. And it doesn't surprise me if this poll is somewhat accurate. It doesn't surprise me because Maine is so dependent upon the federal government, whether you're in academia or social services and other parts of the economy. Maine is very dependent upon the federal taxpayers sending money to Augusta.
You left out health care. right? It's not. This bill is not looking at what you just said. This bill is cutting health care from Maine people.
Well, when you
that
say
they
Maine people, there are people who are here in Maine who are not citizens who should
No,
not be
but Phil,
on these programs.
okay, but this bill doesn't cut that. This bill is cutting people who are currently on Medicaid, who are in the state of Maine, who have been here their entire lives. And I will disagree with you that anybody who needs health care should get health care, but tens of thousands of people in Maine are going to be kicked off. That's the problem with the bill.
Let's talk about the increasingly, we say this every week, right? The increasingly crowded race for the Blaine House next year. We have another candidate, as accurately predicted by Phil, Rick Bennett.
To the date.
That's right.
Very well done.
Entering the race, he is a Republican state senator, but is doing so as an independent. Is that the best lane for him?
Well, I think it depends on how he explains his departure as a loyal leadership of the Republican Party. Let's remember Rick Bennett ran for Congress in the 2nd District as a Republican. He was state party chairman. He was involved at the national level. He's going to have to explain to loyal Republicans why his decision to move over to an independent is in the best interest of the Republicans who supported him in the past. If he can, I think he's got a very viable opportunity to win.
How do you see it, Ethan?
I don't know if he's got a viable opportunity to win. I think that this is probably his only opportunity because he probably wouldn't win the Republican primary. I mean, I think we probably agree on that. He's just been a little bit too outside of the sort of where the MAGA Republican Party is in Maine. So he's chosen another path. It's probably smart. It gives him a chance to get all the way to the general election. The one thing that, he's running traditional as opposed to clean. He's been a big supporter of getting money out of politics, reducing money in politics, and his message was all about dark money and stuff. So I was kind of surprised. I thought he would run as a clean election candidate as part of his stance that says, hey, the two parties are just bought and sold. I'm going to do this a different way. But he'll be formidable no matter what.
All right. Well, we thank you both so much for your analysis. It's great to talk to you. Remember, new episodes of In the Arena, they drop every Thursday. Taking a bit of a break right now. Able to catch your breath with the legislature now adjourning, but you got to check out the back catalog. It's a great primer ahead of when the state legislature reconvenes.
The greatest hits.
That's right.